So as you guys have seen over the last 2 days here at Infoshare, the amount of change, the amount of technology, the amount of excitement that has not only graced this stage, but graced multiple stages throughout the last 2 days, there's so much going on. There's so many things that are out there for us to do, and I know that it can be overwhelming. And throughout this presentation, my focus is to inspire you to be creative with the limitations that we are presented, and really look at change in an all-new light. So my name is Brian Fanzo. I introduce myself as a change evangelist, and I'm very blessed. I get to travel the world, speak on a lot of different stages. Unlike Eric, I have 2 podcasts, but mine don't have, if you combine both of my podcasts, they have as many downloads as he has in 1 month. So I am also a podcaster. I get to travel the world. I have 3 daughters. And what my job is I help brands embrace digital change. If it's embracing artificial intelligence, understanding the power of Facebook Live, maybe creating a Snapchat campaign at the Super Bowl. But ultimately, what I want you to do throughout this presentation is I want you to have an open mind. I want you to have a perspective to understand what is out there for us. And so that's why I consider myself a change evangelist. And what I want you to look at and what I want you to think of, if the slides work, because this is a limitation. Uh-oh, here we go. So what I want you to think about in this world we're living in right now, and this is a real-time map. If you search, just Google internet in real time, the amount of things that we are presented with on a daily basis is already overwhelming. And I talk about this a lot, but my grandfather, I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and if you guys haven't realized already, I'm American. I think that was pretty clear. But I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and my grandfather always told me that he got his news from 3 sources. He got his news from the newspaper, from one of the 3 TV channels that he had, and then whenever he hung out at the pub. And those were his 3 sources of news. Today we're overwhelmed with 5,000 apps on our phone, notifications, email. We have 15 different social networks. You probably played around with mixed reality, artificial intelligence, virtual reality. We have all of these distractions, all of these things going on. And the crazy part about this, not only does it overwhelm us, but oftentimes we get confused on where to start, or even confused on why we should be doing these things. A lot of Eric's presentation earlier, I'm a big believer in content marketing, but part of the thing with content marketing is you just have to do it. You have to start. The reason it takes 12 to 18 months is because you have to start that momentum. And a lot of this that you see up here, not only does it distract us, but it gives us, in this world that we're in right now, it actually opens our mind to change. And so when we look at change, and for everyone that's out here, I don't know many people that look at change and get excited about change. And I am one of those people that I actually have a unique background. I worked in cybersecurity for the Department of Defense in the United States, and my job was getting the Air Force to share policies with the Army, the Navy to share policies with the Marine Corps. And so anyone that's out there that is in collaboration, I can almost guarantee that my job for about 9 years was a lot harder than yours, as getting those different branches of the military to not only embrace change, but ultimately collaborate and share. And I think when we look at change, oftentimes we approach change the wrong way. Change isn't the result of bad decisions. Rather, change is the result of all of the decisions you've made up to this moment that allow you to present something new. And so I want to take you down this path, and thanks to Mark Zuckerberg recently at the Facebook announcement, is not only has Mark been under, he's had to do a lot of questioning. I know he was in Europe just this week. But if you looked at things, a lot of the announcements that Mark put out there were exciting, but they were also overwhelming. We had things like virtual reality, which, okay, is exciting and fun, but how does that fit into my marketing? How does that fit into my business? We have things like artificial intelligence, deep learning. We talk about the power of robots, Internet of Things. These are all things that are rolling out, and I kind of have a phrase that I call, in Zuck we trust. Because if Zuck and Facebook's rolling it out, there's a reason for it. There's a value for it. And then not only on top of that, we decided, okay, artificial intelligence, deep learning, all of these things that we have that are out there today, what else can we possibly add to the mix? And that mix also includes a dating app. So for those of us that were not already overwhelmed with social media and marketing and Facebook and everything out there, we now throw Facebook and added a dating app. And for a lot of us, we're overwhelmed by all of this bleeding edge technology. I think a lot of you that are here at Infoshare, just walking around that room over there, there's so much excitement, so many different things that we can get our hands on. But at the same time, we're still trying to figure out how we spend time doing email marketing and running our business. And for a lot of you in this room, I think you're probably like me, the idea of marketing seems like it's a burden. I never considered myself a marketer because for me, marketing seemed like sales enablement. Marketing seemed like a lot of distraction, but I firmly believe in today's day and age, community is the future of business. And when we start looking at community, we have to start understanding our customers. And there was a great reminder of where we currently stand when it comes to the current state of our world. And other than the fact that apparently technology. But if you guys remember, or I don't know how many of you guys were watching, but I spent a lot of hours watching Mark Zuckerberg get questioned by the wonderful people that are at the powers of the country that I belong to. And the first thing I thought was, well, actually, I thought a lot of things. I felt really bad for Mark. I felt really bad for the state of our world. But what it reminded me more so than anything, we have virtual reality, we have augmented reality, we have artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, but we also have people that are confused that Facebook owns Instagram, and that Facebook makes money with ads, and that social media isn't a passing fad. And so what I want you guys to take into account is that, yes, there's excitement. Yes, there's tons of things going on. But if you focus on only the bleeding edge, you alienate, well, some of the people that were questioning Mark that are still confused on where the internet fits into our world. And so we need to remember at all times that change is hard. Change is scary. Now, these are a picture of my 3 daughters. I have an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And one thing that they've taught me more so than anything else is that if you tell somebody or force somebody to change, the first thing they say is no. So if I tell you in this room that you need to launch a podcast, if I tell you in this room you need to be on Snapchat, or you need to start using Instagram stories, the first thing you're going to say is, I'm just learning Facebook. Or Eric told me about LinkedIn now, and all of a sudden I remember that LinkedIn's a social network, not somewhere you go when you're looking for a job or to hire people. We can get overwhelmed by all of this change. So what I want you to think about is we must look at change rather than what the change is. We must look at what the change matters to us. I don't want you to change just for change's sake. Rather, I want you to embrace change and look at change as new possibilities. And those new possibilities come to us, and they allow us to do certain things. But one of those things that change presents is fear. And how many people here have heard of FOMO or have FOMO, right? FOMO, right. Well, so this is a perfect segue because I actually host a podcast called FOMO Fans that allows you, every week, I cure your fear of missing out. And the reason I created that podcast is I love bleeding edge. I'm one of those people that says, can we insert a chip inside of my arm so that I can learn Polish? Because it was really hard for me to order at the food trucks. I couldn't even read the menus. You know, I struggle with English. I talk fast and tweet faster. But for me, I'm ready to insert a chip so that I can learn the language and so that I can relate, right? I'm at that bleeding edge. But I also realize that not everyone is like me. Not everyone is excited about the possibility of a world that lives in mixed reality. If anybody saw the movie Ready Player One, there was 2 responses from the people that were leaving the movie theater at Ready Player One. There was people so excited about technology, they're Googling virtual reality and how they can install it. And there was other people that wanted to throw their phone in the trash and wish they could go back to horse and buggy and delete the internet. The fear of missing out is real, but fear of missing out is change that is presented to us because we are scared of the unknown. Now, on top of fear of the unknown, we also have this really, and it should be a 4-letter word, but it's really only 3 letters for the most part, and that's ROI. And so oftentimes when I'm working with brands, they're like, well, I don't need to use Facebook Live because how do I prove the ROI? Or why would I launch a podcast? It's going to take me 3 years to get sponsorship on a podcast. I don't have that amount of time. I'm a startup. I need ROI, damn it. Give me the ROI. And so ROI and fear, in my opinion, are often 2 of the biggest drivers that prevent people from understanding the possibilities of marketing. And so I look at fear and I look at ROI, and I want to break it down. I want to take it a step back and say, okay, let's take fear and ROI off the table. Let's change the equation. Let's go back and figure out what our focus is as a business. Now, like I said earlier, I'm in marketing now. I get to travel the world, Poland is actually my 73rd country that I've ever visited, which is pretty cool. I'll be going to Scotland in 2 weeks, which will be my 74th. And so if anyone else is coming from a really remote, random country, I'm 36 years old. My goal is to reach 100 countries by the time I turn 40, so you can come find me afterwards. But one of the things that I love to work with and love to travel the world is that when I talk to entrepreneurs, I was in Newcastle, UK last week at Newcastle Startup Week, and one of the most exciting things for me is that if you own your own business, if you're working in a business, if you're spending time in this room right now, you're passionate about something. You care about what you're doing. And for me, it's really easy to work with you to tell your story, to embrace and be creative with your limitations. The hard ones are with my clients, like IBM and Dell and Samsung and the Super Bowl, because I have to work with some really big brands and figure out how to make them sexy and cool and passionate. It takes a lot of focus. But what I want you to focus on throughout the rest of this presentation is I want you to think about this one question. What does success look like for you? Virtual reality and augmented reality are exciting, but does that fit into your success? Does that help you get one step closer to reaching your business goals? In this world right now where we're distracted with technology, we're distracted with marketing, we're distracted with so many opportunities, chasing the shiny object or just jumping on the new trend because we have FOMO no longer is a viable excuse. So I want everyone in this room right now, what does success for your business look like today? And then let's backwards in to, oops, I went one too quick. Then let's backwards in to really what is next. And that is, how do we measure success? One of the things I work with, I've had a lot of brands that come to me and say, Brian, let's help me build a strategy for Snapchat. And one of the things they always say, well, Snapchat doesn't have an open API. Snapchat doesn't really give us really good analytics. It's really hard to track that really horrible four-letter word called ROI. And I often challenge them and say, no, it's not. We do things like a screenshot campaign, or we do link outs to Twitter where we can manage or measure that success. And so when you look at these different things, I always ask, what does success look like? And then ultimately, how are we going to measure that? Now, for a lot of people, measuring success can kind of be scary because now you have to put up or shut up. And I think in marketing, especially in social media, for the last, I'd say 9 years or so, we were really good at hustling. We were really good at working hard and going nowhere. Anybody that spent money trying to get likes on something and then couldn't figure the ROI out, yeah, I can't figure that out either. For the longest time, and I say for the last 9 years, we've been using social media, digital websites to distance ourselves from our customers and our clients. And why? Because we just decided to work hard, not work smart. And I challenge you today that because hustling is easy, that is not an excuse just to hustle, because anybody can work hard. Anybody can deploy virtual reality. Anybody can launch Facebook Live. Anybody can create a Snapchat account. Anybody can launch a podcast. But does that help you reach success in your business? Does that help you get one step closer to what you want to do? Because working smart is really freaking hard. Now, it took me 4 years as an entrepreneur to figure that one out. Because I just figured, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, and I don't want to work for the man or the woman. And so I don't want to work 40 hours for somebody else. I'm going to work 60 hours for myself. That's the worst statement I've ever heard. I want to work for myself so I can work 30 hours in my home office and spend more time with my daughters and traveling the world. And so when you look at these different things that are out there, I want you to focus on keeping things simple. Or what I like to say, KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid. If you're looking at new technology, if you're looking at launching a website, if you're looking at different social media, I want you to simplify the equation. And remember, ask yourself that question. What does success look like? Now, the other piece of this is that we oftentimes want to control the results. We want to control where the traffic's coming from. We want to control how technology makes us feel. But here's the thing. Control is an illusion. We have no control. And here's the crazy part. Did anyone predict that Facebook was going to add a dating app? I know a lot of the dating companies, like the Tinders, that all of a sudden took a massive plummet on the stock market the day that announcement came out. They didn't predict that Facebook, the big gorilla, was going to throw their name into the hat. They can't control what others are doing. But what you can do is you can focus on your own individual success. You can focus on your own individual path to measuring that success. What I want you to take away from this presentation is do not let technology dictate how you measure that success. If your success in your business is creating relationships, building rapport, and starting conversations, don't do a Facebook ad that just gets you more profile views and likes on Facebook. I'm a big believer in live video. If you're on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitch, Periscope, I've done over 2,300 live videos myself individually in the last 2 years. And to me, live video is powerful because it helps me get to my goal. And my goal is more stages like this. Yes, I could create a blog and do a lot of blogging. I don't even have a book out at the moment because the book to me is the hard part. The book to me is something that is a limitation. So I don't want to let something else dictate how I measure success, dictate my path or my journey. Then beyond the technology or beyond letting this technology dictate where you're going, I want you to think one other thing. And other than the fact that we don't want to let technology dictate our presentations, because I got you. The only thing you can guarantee with technology is that something goes wrong. And so what I want you to look at, and this is a pretty good Robert Frost quote, is that when we're looking at change, and throughout the rest of this day here at this presentation, I want you to look at this quote. And it's simply, which path are you going to choose? Right now in this crazy world, if everyone is jumping on virtual reality or augmented reality, or everyone all of a sudden has decided to launch a podcast, I recommend launching a video or writing more blogs. I'm a big believer, if everyone is zigging, I want to zag. But that is a scary path, and your job is to decide, do you want to chase the path less taken, or do you want to follow the trends of everyone else? These two roads are where we're at in this journey, especially when it comes to technology. And I want you to think about this as we move forward. Now, for those in this room, you might be like, okay, well, I listened to Eric's presentation, and I heard the presentation before that about working from home, and I'm like, oh my God, where's the start button? Where do I start? How do I begin? And here's the thing. Sitting here in this room, you're going to have lots of ideas. You're going to have lots of wonderful ways that you can take this technology. And this afternoon, I'm doing a 3-hour workshop on this simple concept. And it's simple, yet I'm doing a 3-hour workshop, so take that into the thought process here. But to get started, I want you to start today. I want you to look at technology. I want you to look at all of the options that are available to us. And rather than looking for the start key, I want you to prepare yourself to zig or zag when everyone's doing the opposite. I want you to look at this opportunity that you have today. You're going to learn a ton of information. There's a lot of things that you guys are going to be presented throughout the rest of today. You've already been presented over the last day and a half, and you're going to be excited about the opportunity. You're going to be excited about what that's going to bring to you. But here's the thing. You don't need permission to take action. I'm giving you permission right now. What you take, what you write down, what pictures you take, you don't need permission to take action. What my one call to action for you in this room is I want you to press the damn button. I don't care if it's launching a podcast. I don't care if it's under email marketing. I don't care if it's learning more about mixed reality, virtual reality. Maybe it's sitting in the artificial intelligence talks and understanding the difference between deep learning and artificial intelligence. I don't care what it is, but what I want you to do is I want you to look at all of these possibilities. I want you to ask yourself, what does success look like? And then ultimately, I want you to press the damn button. Because limitations inspire creativity. My name is Brian Fanzo. Thank you guys very much.